Welcome back, guys. Welcome to episode 6, the vinyl chloride and plastic plague. I also apologize in advance. My dog is going nuts again. What you got to say? What you got to say? Hmm? Oh. Yeah, so I'm sure at this point it doesn't take a investigator or scientist or anybody with any kind of high IQ to figure out that plastic is everywhere. It's in our food, it's in pipes, it's in water as microplastics. It's in food as microplastics as well, like I said. It's in our homes. It is in the ocean to the size, I believe it's bigger than Texas, the island of plastic that's out in the ocean. And we undoubtedly live in a plastic world. But at the heart of that world, there lies many horrible things, but one of them is a poison called vinyl chloride, and that's what we're talking about today. It's the building block of PVC, polyvinyl chloride, one of the most common plastics on Earth, especially in any kind of construction field. It's used everywhere. Um, and for decades, chemical companies knew, shocker, that it was deadly. Um, they knew it caused cancer, they knew it would cripple workers, and they kept making it anyway. Money over everything. If it can turn a profit, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter what they have to sacrifice. So, we're going to rewind a little bit to the 1800s when vinyl chloride was invented by a German chemist named Henry Victor Regnault. It was a curiosity, not a project. It was more, I guess, a passion project, you could call it. But in the early 20th century, scientists discovered it could be polymerized into PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Benefits of PVC: it is cheap, it is strong, it is flexible, and it's very resistant to almost everything, all weather conditions considered. And by the 1950s, vinyl chloride was worldwide. Everybody was using it. PVC pipes replaced the iron pipes. Vinyl siding covered homes. Vinyl was in, and still is, in floors. It's in packaging, medical tubing, toys. Plastic was the miracle material of the post-war era. And by post-war, if you don't know, 1950s would insinuate World War II. And at the core of it all was vinyl chloride. Like we said, this is the foundation. It's the beginning building block. But inside the factories that were producing this chemical, it told a different story. There was a different story unfolding there for these people. It was not a miracle. The workers who handled the vinyl chloride directly became significantly ill with horrific symptoms, very strange symptoms. The bones in their hand would literally dissolve. Your hand would become gelatinous because it had no bone structure. The skin thickened and tightened, and doctors started to call it vinyl chloride disease because of the links to this. It would also make a lot of this was with your hands because you work with your hands. It would make your hands shrink in size over time, too. By the 1960s, companies were reporting rare and deadly cancers of the liver, so rare that it never really even appeared in the general population. It was very specific to the workers that were handling this, which put them at even more of a disadvantage. And at that point, and even before that, it was an undeniable link between the vinyl chloride and these cancers and the loss of bones, tightening of skin, the limbs shrinking. There was no way to deny it anymore. Once you could start plotting more than a few dots on the graph, it's not a coincidence, it is a trend, and that trend led to vinyl chloride every single time. So what the companies did was the giants of the chemical world worldwide, Dow Chemical, Goodrich, Union Carbide, they all had evidence in their hands of this. Internal memos admitted that the dangers and the studies that were conducted in Europe confirmed the cancer link by the late 1960s, but instead of sounding an alarm, the companies buried the research. They did, however, set exposure limits, but the exposure limits were far higher than what was even safe. The workers were told it was fine, and the regulators were told nothing at all about the dangers that they knew before them. Because admitting the truth would cost billions. And at this point, we all know that these companies, because it's a story as old as time, If profit outweighs the dangers, that it's not happening to them, they're going to do it. You have to question things. Fast forward a little bit more through 1974, and the truth got out at a Goodrich plant in Louisville, Kentucky. Several workers developed the cancer of the liver. A cancer, like I said, that's so rare that seeing more than one case in a single place was unheard of, and there was no way to deny the link anymore. So the alarms were sounded, and the story started to go public. It hit the press. Congress demanded answers. The public was shocked to learn that this miracle PVC that they've now used for everything uh, came from a hidden place that was full of disease and cancer and was purposely buried for profit. That year, OSHA slashed the allowable rate for vinyl chloride exposure from 500 parts per million down to 1 part per million. And these companies knew about that before OSHA did this. So they kept these safe limits to themselves until they were exposed. By the time that regulators acted, thousands of workers had already been exposed, communities around the plant had already been contaminated, and the world was already drowning in PVC, as we still are. Vinyl chloride never vanished, it kept being produced, just with tighter rules and regulations. Because as you can tell, PVC is still everywhere. It's in your house, it's in your car, it's in your hospital IV lines, and when PVC burns in building fires and landfills, fires in general, train derailments, it releases dioxins, some of the most toxic compounds known to humanity, linked to cancers, reproductive harm, and immune system collapse. Fast forward to 2023. This is fresh in everybody's mind and should definitely ring a bell. There was a train that derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. Several several cars on this train were carrying vinyl chloride, and authorities, fearing an explosion, decided to burn it off. The result of this was a towering black plume of smoke laced with dioxins, again, one of the most deadly chemicals known to man. And it spread all across the Ohio Valley. Ohio residents reported dead pets, rashes, and breathing problems. Go figure. Who would have guessed? Farmers worried about contaminated soil, rightfully so. And it was a modern echo of the same story that vinyl chloride's profit is first and people are second, no matter what. PVC is incredibly deadly, but it's also cheap, it's versatile, and it's profitable. So, despite the dangers, production continues at a massive scale. Global, P- Global PVC demand is still growing, especially in developing countries, because a lot of countries are trying to get on grids now. They need these things. Factories still pump it out, often uh, at the expense of communities that are too poor to fight back or do anything about it. Every piece of PVC, every pipe, every package carries a hidden cost of its creation. Every single piece of it has a toll that had to be paid. As cheap as that may sound, or as goofy as that may sound, it is true, unfortunately. It built the plastic age, vinyl chloride. It built the plastic age. It made life easier and more convenient, but like almost everything else that also does this, there is a trade-off, and how much are you willing to trade for the convenience? It poisoned most of the workers who made it all the way up until OSHA put regulations in. It contaminated soil and rivers where it was produced. Where it burns, it unleashes toxins that will haunt generations. It doesn't just go away, it's going to linger, it's going to rain back down on us. And the companies knew this. They always knew, and they chose silence. Like almost every single other one I've talked about so far. Again, it is a trend. It's not a coincidence that they do this. So the next time that you do see plastic or PVC in your walls, outside of a building for electrical, in your house for plumbing, is it carrying your water to your sink? Um, take notes of these things because this miracle plastic was born from a curse and we are still living in it. And I can almost guarantee that. Ooh, I bounced off this. And I can almost guarantee that you didn't know this. So, Next time, we are going to move on to a subject that is near and dear to my heart because this affected many people that I know. And we're going to go down the rabbit hole of the tobacco industry and uncover why it is just as evil, if not more evil, than almost any other one I've talked about. Um, for decades, they've kept up their scam and it's left millions dead globally. But we're just going to talk about America for now. Anyway, thank you guys. I hope to see you at episode 7 and just keep on scaling up. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Please leave a comment, maybe about a story that I haven't heard, topic that I haven't heard, add on to this, whatever it may be, and subscribe if you feel like it. That would be great. Thanks again, guys. See you at the next one. Oh, just good boy. Look that way. It's over here. It's over here. Say hello. Oh, oh, oh. You spilled my coffee. All right, come here. There you go. There. What's that? Hey, what do you guys Hey, what you got to say? What you got to say? Hmm? Oh, that's a good boy. All right. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, all right, goodbye.